And you're just a nobody. You know, you're not in the know. You just kind of wake up out of a grave and you're like, reset the cycle. You know, for the sake of it being cryptic, makes sense. For the sake of this game not being cryptic, I mean, excellent, yeah. Okay, so we can watch a YouTube video. That was a very good game. That was a very good game. That is a must-play. I still say I prefer Dark Souls, but I like the Sekiro combat system more than Dark Souls. The Shura ending hurt. We'll YouTube it right now. And then we can go play League of Legends. Because we do got to do a bit of League. So what are we doing right now? Sekiro all endings. All endings, good, bad, true, secret. Oh my god. Good, bad, true, secret. One sec. You know, if you were to rate Sekiro higher than Dark Souls, I could understand why you might say that, but for me, it's not. As an individual game, it's extremely impressive. Everything as a whole, I still prefer Dark Souls. If this game, I'll say this, if this game had sequels, for whatever reason, maybe in terms of quality, it could beat Dark Souls, but like, DS's world is more compelling, in my opinion. And that in itself is subjective, right? Okay. Higher than DS2 by miles? It's not even close. Yeah, it's not. DS2 is the worst of every FromSoft that I've played. And that doesn't mean it's a bad game, but it's just not better than DS1, DS3, and Sekiro. Sekiro's a good one-off game. Excellent game. I'm going to say this. Sekiro's got some of the best boss fights. Some of the most intense dueling of any game. You know, it really kind of reminded me of, like, a Dark Souls For Honor. That's really what it was. It was a Dark Souls For Honor. I'm just going to keep bringing it back to For Honor because, like, that game is very intimate in how you duel. And when you sit there and you parry and you do this and you do this and you do that, it's like, it's intense. It's much more intense than DS. Okay. Well, even if there is DLC, I mean, this game's what, 4 years old? 3 years old? Okay. So this is good ending, alternate good ending, bad ending, and true ending.
死んだと聞いていたが
この袋は巫女様の尊いその恩知
Wait, what? Oh my god, wait. Okay, so this is Owl. This is the point where I side with Owl. We've already seen this. I side with Owl, or I side with the child. This is when you side with Owl. I like Owl as a character, but he's kind of a shithead. Damn. This bitch goes crazy. He's such a scumbag. This guy is such a loser. You gotta kill Emma. Tear her apart. Owl is just such scum. I don't know. I like the scumbags in games. For the sake of, like, you know, honorable 1v1s, like, that guy's a piece of shit. She was trained by Ishin, yeah. This bitch is probably serious business. I prefer the English voice acting. I don't know. This makes more sense, but I prefer Owl's English voice. Rip. Well, it was that easy, I guess. Yon's voice on Wolf, yeah, it is good.
Sekiro yo.
Who is this? Is that Ishin? It is. Inauspicious man. Is this old man Ishin? This is the real Ishin instead of being brought back from like. Shit. This guy's gangly, bro. Get your ass beat by an old man! What about his Glock? Why does he even have a fucking Glock? Oh, he's dead. It was that easy. That took a while, he says. Yeah, okay, bud. Owl kills Genichiro off screen. Yeah, it says he puts his head down. That's fucked. Oh. And then you betray him for the country? Really? Wait, so you are really fucking evil. I mean, this guy's a piece of shit, but you're betraying everyone. Did he get taken over by the demon? The Shura? The Shura! You end up becoming a demon? Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait, do you also kill this kid? Oh my god, this is a horrible ending. Why would you want this ending? This is awful. I prefer the English voice acting. I prefer the English voice acting. Damn, just like the sculptor, look at that. I mean, that ending, that's a cool alternate ending if you just want to be an absolute vile, atrocious man. Died alike, died by the thousand. He just killed everybody. Oh my god.
その地には後々まで鬼が潜んだという。
That's a fucked up ending. Is that really the game? That's not a good ending. That is a dreadful ending. So why is he young here? Is this the old Ishin? What about the Ishin in the tower? Is this Ishin reborn in his younger self? Is that what that is? Revived, like rejuvenated. So he got reborn. So did he just die in the tower? And he wanted to retake, what did he want to do? Retake Ashina? He wanted to rule Ashina again? Is that what that was? The lore video will explain it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is the other ending. How is this ending good? Wait, what? There's a better ending? This ending looks awful. So you kill the child, and then you become a human, or you sacrifice yourself to then give the child a chance at life. Because you need one or the other, correct? Isn't that what that means? Yeah. Wait, who's this? Is he now the sculptor? Oh my god. You then become the sculptor. So then another person... Wait. I still don't really understand. The sculptor aspect of this game I don't really get. So am I... Yeah, oh... So this is a bad ending. This is like the Dark Souls ending, where you rekindle the flame, not destroy it. This is the good ending that we just got. That's the best ending. That right there is the best ending. Yeah, what about this one? But you know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe it isn't. Hang on. What's this one? I think this is the secret ending. This has got to be it, no? So they just walk off as immortal beings? How is that the best ending? So now they're just going to be stuck with each other forever, and they can live life as immortals? I don't know if that's necessarily the best ending. I mean, it's nice, but... Oh, is there more? I guess you could... They would maybe go off and try and find a different way to break the curse. I guess that's a thing. That could be it, yeah. But are they both human now? This game is a bit confusing. Oh, they both become human. Oh, did they really? They broke the curse? Well, you say they broke the curse. What if they didn't? I mean, that doesn't really explain much. They just walk off. This is the least confusing FromSoft. Yeah, for sure.
さようならみんな。私は行かねばなりません。我らの因果を断ち切るために。とても長い旅になります。それでも共に来てくださるのですか？
はい。
ありがとう、竜の忍びよ。九郎殿も喜んでおります。参りましょう。
Oh, everyone goes to the west.
西に。
Ah.
神の
Oh, they want to go find... Okay, gotcha. I do prefer this. I would say that's the best ending. I would agree that that is the best ending. To be honest, I would say that's the best ending. When you've got FromSoft games, they always end on... Well, at least for the sake of Dark Souls, and maybe Bloodborne, I'm not sure. They always end on, like, a miserable note. That's actually... that's a pretty happy ending. That's not bad. I would say, you know what? I actually don't like the alternate endings in this game. It's not that they're not cool, but I would have preferred one definitive ending. You know? Like... That's okay. I could live without that stuff. But that was cool. Yeah. That was the best ending for sure. So how long is the Sekiro lore video? 20 minutes? We could do that. Sure. Wait, no, it's not. Wait, it's not even... Wait. It's like over an hour of lore. Oh my god. I was gonna say I might pass. Is there like a story breakdown? I don't need to know everything about this game. But just more of the... Sekiro story explained. 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 58 seconds. Oh, a story breakdown of Sekiro. Here we go. This works better. Vati Vidya... Here we go. This should be fine.
This is the Imperial Prince. He's the sole surviving descendant of an ancient clan that once dwelled in this land.
It's 8 minutes.
But now, he's alone, with no one, except for a lone, loyal shinobi. The two of them have each other, and no one else. That is, until the commander of this region hatches a plot to kidnap the prince. This commander personally defeats our shinobi, kidnaps our young master, and sets the events of the game into motion. But shadows die twice. Or, to quote the Japanese title, we will endure.
Looks fucking painful.
We awaken in an abandoned temple. And if it's the same as the temple that's burning in the intro, then it may well belong to the goddess of mercy. Alongside us is Abushi, who is obsessively carving countless statues of the Buddha. These statues are typically created in the image of one who has obtained Buddhahood, or enlightenment. So it's curious then that many of these statues appear to have 2 torsos and 4 arms, often with the left arm missing. And the Bushi and our character too are also missing their left arm, but ours has been replaced with a ningishu, a ninja prosthetic arm. So it's with this, says the Bushi, that we'll be better equipped to get back our honor and rescue our young master. And this is the man who took him. He's the commander of the Ashina clan. And thanks to the Japanese Sekiro website, we actually already know a ton about his history. So we don't know the commander's name, but his grandfather was called...
A story breakdown of Sekiro. He didn't... I mean, this is probably before the game... It's fine. I guess we don't know right now. This is an early access video. So it doesn't really matter. That doesn't matter. was going to say, we don't know his name. I know his Gamishiro. I know his name. Classic Vati. Yeah, the only lore video here is 2 hours and 30 minutes. Outside of, Vati's 20-minute long videos, but there's like 5 of them. I mean, you know what? I'm sure it's incredible. I'm sure it's great stuff, but like, for the sake of streaming, how about this? Sekiro lore, the demon of hatred. Sure.
One of the first characters that we meet on our journey is the sculptor, an ex-shinobi who drags our unconscious body.
I feel like I technically don't need to know the story because I get the story. The whole idea of Sekiro was to sever the ties of immortality and do its best for the king. The royal blood, the child, Kuro, right? That's really just it. That's really just it. That's the whole game, right? You save the kid, and then you find ways to sever this bonding of, if one lives, the other has to, blah, blah, blah.
From our battle with Genichiro to the dilapidated temple. This man shows us,
We're playing League later.
Grumpy way, kindness. He replaces our arm and equips us with upgrades, which allow us to pursue our
Which boss would I
vengeance and our
replay?
mission.
Owl.
He says he will offer us shelter anytime, and indeed his temple.
Story
and
is one-armed man goes on a mission. That's really
become
just what
a
it is, yeah.
home for us.
I don't think I need to know the lore of this game because it actually just is explained well. And in hindsight, again, looking back at everything you've done, it just makes sense. Right? You're on a quest. Like, God forbid, I'm sure the monkeys have lore and all this stuff has lore. It's all, like, rooted in Japanese mythology and stuff. But we're going to learn about the demon. I'm curious about the demon because the demon is kind of the strangest thing. We're not going to do no-hit videos. Nah, it's too much. It's a waste of time. We got to move on, bro. I got like 6 other games to play, and I got League. I got a lot of shit to do.
Nickname Orangutan by Emma.
Maybe we'll do one video of that. That's fine.
Shinobi like we are now. The prosthetic arm was own
I will do a no-hit watching of Ishin. That's it.
grumpy way, kindness. He replaces our arm and equips us with upgrades, which allow us to pursue our vengeance and our mission. He says he will offer us shelter anytime, and indeed his temple and companionship become a sort of home for us. Yet this mysterious man does have a history. He is nicknamed Orangutan by Emma, and was once a shinobi like we are now. The prosthetic arm was in fact developed for him, and the prosthetic esoteric text is a collection of research and experience that the sculptor has gained by wielding the prosthetic arm. When you bring the sculptor your first shinobi tool to put into the prosthetic arm, he describes the various ways in which you can use these tools to slaughter your enemies. The conversation between us goes like this.
Fitting more devices means more ways to slay your enemies. If there's someone that needs killing, there's a proper way to kill them. That's all there is to it.
Simple as.
Seems you know this prosthetic very well.
I should calm myself. The more I speak of bloodshed, the more demonic my sculptures will become.
Firstly, Wolf comments on how well the orangutan knows this item, and indeed this ex-shinobi did once use this weapon to great effect to destroy his enemies. The collection of skills in the prosthetic esoteric text implies that he was an extremely skilled shinobi. Indeed, he is recognized by other shinobi. For if you fight Owl in the past in the Hirata estate, if you use the prosthetic arm, he recognizes this arm and knows who it used to belong to. If the orangutan's reputation is known by the master shinobi Owl, we can assume that this shinobi was a force to be reckoned with. Yet how and why did he become the one-armed sculptor if he was once a skilled shinobi? If you share a drink with him, he will tell you what happened.
Ache.
Your left arm?
Yes, and this sake was a favorite of the man who cut it off.
Ishin cut it off.
Who was
Lord Ishin.
Ishin? Why?
He did it for my sake. I was on the verge of being consumed.
Consumed by what?
Shura.
We can therefore see that it was Lord Ishin who cut off the sculptor's arm, and essentially left him in the state that we find him today. Yet the sculptor seems grateful for this, that Ishin did it for his own good. For the sculptor tells us that he was becoming Shura. Shura has a couple of different meanings in Japanese. Firstly, it can be used to describe the Buddhist demigod of war. It can be also used to describe someone who has become lost to their own bloodlust and must fight relentlessly against anyone and anything, causing extreme violence and devastation. This can also be our fate if we so choose the Shura ending. In this ending, Wolf becomes an unstoppable killing machine, killing for the sake of it. Shura. He sides with Owl, kills Emma and Ishin, yet even kills Owl just for the sake of it, because they have been lost to their own bloodlust. The narrator describes that the Shura goes on to have a reign of terror over these lands. This alternate ending gives us an idea of what was happening to the sculptor. He was close to losing himself to his own bloodlust before Ishin took his arm off in an attempt to save himself. Yet the conversation we have about the tool and the collection of the sculptor's works in the esoteric text show that even after this, the sculptor was close to igniting the flames of hatred. But he abandoned the path of the shinobi, for the prosthetic esoteric text description states, written by a man who abandoned the path of the shinobi, but could not bring himself to discard his painstaking research. The fact the sculptor was losing himself after gaining his prosthetic arm
You can get out of
is
that.
backed up by the description of the living force skill in the prosthetic skill line, which states, the sculptor retired the shinobi prosthetic after the developing of this technique. He'd gone too far, killed too many. The flames of hatred had began to manifest. With the dialogue mentioned before, and these descriptions, we can see a foreshadowing of this man's future. The flames of hatred manifesting themselves within the sculptor. Yet, as mentioned before, he put aside the life of a shinobi in order to save himself from this fate. He would then take up sculpting the Buddha, and essentially this is what he's still doing today. But why does he do this? Well, he tells us this is the fate for having a karmic debt. As the evidence has shown us, this ex-shinobi has killed many people, and this is his karmic debt.
Oh my god.
And by carving the Buddhas, he hopes to pay off that debt before it's too late. However, his proximity to hatred and rage translates into these sculptures. In fact, when we get him talking about using his tools for killing, he tells us that he needs to calm down, for his sculptures become more demonic as he becomes more enraged. When we return from the Hirata estate memory, we speak of what we saw. We then ask the sculptor what he saw. He says this.
Sculptor, what did that Buddha show you?
Were you listening?
Tell me.
Flames.
Flames.
That is all I can see. It doesn't matter what offering I make. Flames, spreading as far as the eye can see, and consuming Ashina.
That's...
We're done here.
Damn.
At first, this may just appear to us to be a kind of generic future of what exists for Ashina, given the tumultuous period that we are in. However, it is instead a vision of what he will become, a vessel for the demonic, the vessel for hate and wrath incarnate, the one-armed shinobi becomes the demon of hatred. War comes to Ashina, and war brings strife, and in this strife, the fires that the sculptor has seen consumes him. The description of the demon of hatred's remnant says this: a man who failed to become Shura instead became a vessel for the flames of hatred. As fate would have it, he was stubbornly bound to this world. It wasn't until he became a demon that he was finally able to depart for the next. Indeed, we see the demon is one-armed, with a prosthetic of sorts, which he wields to bring destruction to Ashina. There is one person we know who had one arm, and who failed to become Ashura, and this is our friend the sculptor. The Internal Ministry's camp has been burned by the demon. We see their soldiers panicking. Most likely, the sculptor's hatred overflowed when their forces arrived to bring violence to Ashina, and he became a vessel for a demonic presence.
I guess
which
that
was
makes sense.
fueled by his hatred. We owe it to our good friend to put him down and let him rest. When we speak to the old woman in the tower after we defeat the demon, she states this:
You know, don't you? You know who the one-armed demon was before.
No.
I see. It might be better that way. What a fate. To be set ablaze in the fires of hatred and suffer eternally as a demon.
She emphasizes that he is one-armed, and that he was consumed by the fires of hatred, and that he had been so close to his whole life. Sekiro does not know who the demon was, but we do, and it is probably better for him that he does not. Indeed, as we execute the demon, the sculptor speaks out from within and thanks us for ending his misery, as the old woman had said. However, the old woman's warning rings in our ear that we should not go the same way, consumed by our bloodlust and hatred, as this war in Ashina continues to go on, and indeed across Japan of the Sengoku period. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I thought it was like a literal demon that just, like, existed. Obviously, it was the guy who had turned into one, but through all the, through all of his bloodshed, he was kind of, I guess with all of that, you know, you said bloodlust. With his bloodlust, he could have been, what was it, the Kura? And then it wasn't even that. He just manifested, like, all of the hatred in the land and whatnot, all the war and all that crap, and turned into a literal demon. I mean, yeah, it's the game's. I would say again, Dark Souls is my thing, but yeah, the atonement never came. Carving the Buddhas for karmic, what is it? Debt, right? Carve. You have to subscribe on YouTube to watch the new video. If that's on the second channel, they do members only videos and then release them a few days later. At least that's what I've seen. I don't manage YouTube, bro. It'll be out. Sakura, Masaka, Jinichiro! No, it's a good game. We'll do, let's see, no-hit Ishin. Fucking no-hit Ishin, 5 minutes. 1 point... You know what? I feel like no-hitting Ishin isn't even that bad. I don't think I need to watch this. Genuinely, I don't think I need to do. Knowing how you actually beat him, you can technically no-hit the first 2 phases and the third phase pretty easily. Ishin is easy no-hit. I would, you know what, having played it, I don't think it is too hard. Ultimate Ishin modded. That's the last video I'll watch, and that's it. That's it. No more. We're done. Sekiro's done after this video. The Ultimate Ishin. After this, we're done. We gotta move on, folks. What is this? The Ishin mod? What does he do? Oh my god. Why do I feel like... I mean... What is he doing? I gave the game an 8.59. Jesus. What the fuck? You know what's crazy? Is I feel like the fight should have been like this, to be honest. But then again, no one would beat the game. Nobody would beat the fucking game. No one would beat the game if this was the case. Except, well, this guy practiced for probably months on one boss. Jesus. This is so much cooler than what you got with Ishin. I feel like for Ishin to be in his prime, I felt more threatened by Owl. Owl was more aggressive, in my opinion. I don't know. Well, in this case, Ishin is not old. This is his prime when he was young. But we've already got games that are loaded up. We're not really... I'm thinking about games for 16.5, but right now I'm not really... I'm looking through Discord, dude. Anything in Discord, I will consider. Jesus, my fucking ears. No HUD always looks better. No HUD always looks better. It always... This looks very cinematic, right? But, like... Below zero? I might. Listen, when it comes to people saying games are shit, don't play them, I don't listen. After fucking Dark Souls 2, when everyone cried about that game being bad, and I liked that game, no. So, maybe, we'll see. Cry of Fear. If it's in Discord, we'll take a look. Reply your favorite boss. Give me a sec. After this, we'll talk. Replay your favorite boss. Nah, we're done with this game, bro. We're done with this game. We're completely done with Sekiro, man. We gotta move on. Jesus, look at this boss battle. Is he just yoinking abilities from, like, different bosses? I mean, I did that last night, too. Come on, bro. I did that last night. That was me last night, just saying. That was me. I did that, too. Zenrin, 13 months. Thanks, buddy. I did that last night. That was the same thing. I did it 250 tries, but I did it. That's the same thing. It's the same thing. No, Sekiro's a good game. I'm glad I played it. That was a very good game.